What is going on, guys? It is your boy the Pat Go Gaming coming at you again with another video, and today we're going to be doing a deep dive into my Rush Turbo Red Purple Luffy deck. We're going to be going over the deck list in detail, going over the matchups, what cards to expect against those matchups, the good and the bad, and also we're going to be getting some games in for you, all on the ranked sim, so all ranked games. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much. We hit 200 subs, so if you're new and you're watching this video, our next goal is 300. We're a long ways away, but any sub would help, so thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Let's get right into it. So just a quick overview of what the concept is. Like a lot of, or at least the red purple Luffys that I've seen, have tried to play a more defensive style, increasing Luffy's power with the Kid, with the New Gate, and the Yasop and things like that, and just trying to kind of stall out the game, make your leader really hard to hit. But that's not the style I like to play with this deck. I like going face and really rushing down your opponent and using the 6k power. It still works defensively, but using it as an offensive option. So to do that, guys, we are running 4 of the 8-drop dragons. Just such a good 8-drop card, guys, and we're able to play this really fast if we're able to hit our ramp cards, and this makes our other attackers very good as well. We're also playing 6 of the 5-drop Luffy, so we're playing 2 of the OP10 Rush Luffys and 4 of the new starter deck Luffys. You can play this down on turn 3, swing at your opponent with a 6, and then swing at your opponent with a 7 using the Luffy ability. So it applies a lot of pressure, and your opponent has to deal with it, which gives you time to play the 10 drops, guys. You're going to want to play these, and unless your opponent attacks like a small number into them and you're able to easily counter out, you really don't want to defend them. You just want to save the cards in your hand, so then you're able to play the 10 drop on a later turn. And a lot of red purple Luffys aren't playing the 10 drop, so this will catch your opponent by surprise. So it's a very strong rush deck that your opponents are not necessarily waiting for, because when they see red purple Luffy, they're thinking of the normal build, the U-Gate build, the Kid build. So this will throw them for a loop. And to make the deck more consistent, we are running 4 of the Namis and 4 of the Sabotis. At the beginning, I was just getting too many games where I did not find the 5-drop Luffys, where I did not find the Zoros, or where I did not find the 10 drops. And if we're not able to see those cards, guys, like, this strategy does not work. So adding the 4 Sabotis made it really consistent. And also for defensive options, it's able to search for the Radical Beams as well as the Gum Giants. Wait, I think that's a lie. That is a lie. Yeah, so you can't do that, but it does allow you to find the characters you need to see for this strategy to work. And Nami's able to search for it too. So you're really not bricking with this deck as much as you're used to. If Sabati was able to find events, it would be so good. But just finding the characters and having access to these 5-drop Luffys is such a big deal, and you really want to see that Zoro on turn 2. So that running the 4 Sabotis and the 4 Namis is a very important for this deck, because you want to see this card every single game. The Zoro Juro I'm talking about. And we're also running 2 Jambeis just to get past those pesky blockers. And running the 4 Namis is able to search for the 2 Jambeis, so very strong there. And then for our events, we're running 3 Rad Beams, 3 Gum Giants, and then 2 of the Bad Manners Kit Course. We play a lot of dead cards in this deck, and often this card will come up just as offers a very nice counter to discard maybe like an extra 10 drop that you had in hand, an extra 5 drop that you weren't going to be playing anyway. So I really recommend running the 0 drop as well. So with that being said, guys, that is the deck list. Let's get into our matchups and what we went against in our games in the ranked sim. Okay, guys, so getting right into my stats from the ranked sim with this deck, we had 3 list revisions. So we went through a couple of different takes of the deck and changed a couple of cards along the way. But 28 games played, 17 wins, 11 losses, and a 61% win rate. So getting into the individual matchup. So first we went against 8 Shankses, guys. Every motherfucker is playing Shanks on the ranked sim currently, and we went 5-3 against him. So a pretty solid matchup for us. I'd say it's not 60-40 in our favor. It's probably more like 50-50, 55-45 maybe. The Shanks is such a good deck. Against Shanks, you're going to want to watch out for the Beckmans. Beckman's going to remove your 5-drop Luffy for free, but on the turn he does that, he's not going to be able to swing face at you. Usually they do that on their 7-Dawn turn. So if they're using their entire turn to clear the Luffy, like, that's fine with us. We're going to play the 10 drop anyway and bottom the rest of it. Other than that, they're playing the 10 drop Shankses, they're playing the Monkey D Dragons, they're playing the Yasops. Just a very strong deck, and if they have one Dawn up, guys, just assume they have Divine Departure in their hand or something along those lines. So a solid matchup, like 62.5% win rate against a top 3 deck in the format is a win in my opinion. Next we're going against the Zoro, probably the best deck in the format right now as of the first week rankings. We went 40% win rate against him, 2 wins, 3 losses, mostly against the animal package. It's a hard matchup, guys. Like, they're able to establish so many small bodies and swing 6s at you so many times. If you see your 2Ks and your 1Ks, you're going to be fine. If you do brick in this matchup, you are dead. You are immediately dead. So just try not to brick, guys. Try not to brick. But other than that, like, the games we did win, we were able to outrush him. So if you do see your cards and you do play optimally and they aren't able to counter out of your attacks, you're going to be able to outrush Zoro. It's just not as consistent as you'd like, but still a 40% win rate against the best deck in the format with a deck that's really not meant to beat Zoro is pretty good in my opinion, especially when Zoro is, I mean, the animal package is just fucking insane, especially when you're playing against Red Purple Luffy. And just hope you see your 2Ks, guys. Then next we're going against Boa. Just keep in mind they will red rock your 10 drop. You're just going to have to be okay with that. You just have to win. You have to win on the turn you play, and if not, like, you have to get them down to 0 and have a Jambe in hand. Just keep that in mind when you're playing against this deck. They will red rock you. They will put up a lot of blockers. You just have to hit face as fast as you can, guys. I think it is like a 50-50 matchup. Not the best, not the worst, but still winnable. Against Rebecca, I'd say same thing, probably a little bit more in our favor. We're able to swing a lot of big numbers into them, and they're not able to use their leader ability to its full extent. I think you'll see the game today. We play against the Rebecca, and we just swing at them, and then they go for game with their King Kong gun, and we're able to counter out. Just be prepared for that King Kong gun. They will try to kill you very quickly with it. Just leave a couple Dawn up, as you'll see in today's game. As long as you do that, you'll be fine. It was still very close, but I think it was a good draw for them in the end, but we're able to take it, and I think it's probably like a 55-45 matchup for us. Blackbeard is a deck I am not scared of with this deck. That's why we play the rush characters. Like, usually Blackbeard shuts down the 10 drop Luffy, but because we're playing so much rush, like, we don't really care. We kind of just hit him and hit him and hit him, and if he does start countering out, he starts not black holing you, and that's when you play the 10 drop, because people aren't expecting the 10 drop right now. Like, that is not the popular dominating list. So Blackbeard expecting you to not have the 10 drop, he's going to be okay with not black holing for one turn to keep a 2K in hand, and that's when you 10 drop him and then you kill him. So not a bad, I mean, a really good matchup for us, like probably 70-30, 60-40. You're going to be beating Blackbeards most of the time. The new ST21 Luffy, I don't have enough data against it. Probably a similar win rate to what I'd expect from Zoro. A strong deck that's able to establish a lot of bodies and swing some pretty big numbers at you. Now, Bonnie is the problem, guys. Bonnie, I don't know if we can beat this deck, like, ever. A very shitty matchup. If Bonnie is able to become one of the, like, premier, it is already like one of the premier decks, but maybe Zoro starts countering it and her usage rate comes down. That's what we're hoping for with the Red Purple Luffy, because right now this matchup is fucking ass. Just hope you don't see Bonnies, guys. They're able to, because usually we're rushing with one character a turn, and they're able to negate an attack every single turn, and it kind of just kills it. Like, if you're playing Zoro, you're able to get around that because you have so many bodies. But in a deck that usually likes to have 1 or 2 bodies on board, Bonnie's ability is just, it's too much for us. And the cards she plays are also very good. Like, if she establishes 8-drop Kid, we're kind of cooked. It's just a really bad matchup. I think the slower version of Red Purple Luffy might have a much better time into it, so I have to test that. But with the rush list, it's really not happening. But I think it's a trade we're willing to make. Like, all the other matchups are very winnable for us, except the Bonnie, guys. Bonnie just gives us a really hard time. If you test this deck and you run into a Bonnie, you'll see what I'm talking about. Next we have Katakuri. He got lucky. He triggered like three 5Ks off the top of his life and then killed us before we could kill him. But honestly, probably like a 60-40 matchup in favor of us. We're able to rush him down really quickly. Sugar, not much to say there. We hit face. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really have a chance against us. Bello Betty can have a good matchup into us. I'd probably say 50-50, 55-45 in favor of us. She can establish those Karasus that minus cost your leader or minus power your leader, and that can be annoying. but we did manage to outrush the one that we played. Purple Luffy is probably like a 50-50, 55-45 for us, just because he takes his own life, so we're able to rush him down that much faster, and he's not able to ramp as comfortably as he usually does. And he doesn't play that many, like, I feel like Purple Luffy used to play a little bit more defensive with a lot of queens and a lot of 5-drop kids, but now they're playing like the Zoro into the 7-cost Luffy into a Sangoro, and that does establish a big board, and that's able to hit back at us. But it's like a 50-50 matchup, guys. Like, not the best, not the worst. Eustace Captain Kid, probably the same as Katakuri, just swing face. If he doesn't trigger, he doesn't play as many like trigger cards that can play for free as the Katakuri, so you'll have a pretty good time against the Yellow Kid. Same thing with Usopp, swing face. Cards to watch out for. Sometimes he can play the Zoro and KO the 4-drop Zoro and KO your Zoro Juro. So if that happens, you're in an okay spot still. Like, you're still going to be able to play your 5-drop Luffy's the next turn and just put a lot of pressure on him. Just don't let him set up with all his blockers. And if he does, just make sure you keep a Jambe in hand, guys. You want to keep that Jambe against Usopp because they play so many little blockers. Then lastly, against Smoker, a difficult matchup. I'd say probably favoring Smoker, like 55-45. Smoker can buff up his leader power, unlike Bonnie. But Bonnie's effect is just so much stronger against this deck than Smoker. Still a negative matchup for us, probably in Smoker's favor. He has 8-drop Kids. He has a 9-drop Shanks that can remove anything, and just plays a lot of annoying cards like Carrot, the other Smoker with Banish. Yeah, just green's not a good matchup for this deck in general. Also plays a lot of small blockers and that can just 1-for-1 attacks. So yeah, that's the matchup spread that we played against, guys. So 28 games against a lot of different leaders, and I think it really showcases the versatility of this deck against most of the format, minus Bonnie. I'm sorry about Bonnie, guys. Like, if you can find a way to get around Bonnie with this list, you are a genius, but I could not. But yeah, against most of the other leaders in the game, you're gonna find at least like except Zoro, probably like a 50-50 matchup. And Zoro is just a hard matchup for any deck, really, guys. And then Shanks is probably a 50-50, and the rest you're gonna be winning a lot of these games, guys. So let me know what you think of my stats, what you think of the matchup spread. And with that being said, guys, let's get right into the games. We have 3 for you. We're going against a Shanks, a Rebecca, and a Blackbeard. So yeah, guys, let's enjoy the games. Okay, guys, so getting right into the first game, we're going up against a Rebecca. This is honestly the first time I've played against Rebecca since I came back to the game, so luckily I have some experience with it, at least. Like, I'm sure she plays similar. Like, this looks exactly like what I used to see back in the day in OP05. So yeah, sitting on our 6 Dawn turn here, guys, we're going to swing big at Rebecca. You always want to make Rebecca either take the life or give you like 3 or 4 cards. So we're going to swing an 8 and a 9. And this just lets her not use her leader ability, guys. And here he's going to swing at our Zoro. We're giving that up 1,000,000% of the time. Here he plays down his 7-drop Luffy, and that's going to be a problem. We have to be a little bit scared of that. But here we're going to play down our Dragon, and we're going to be able to swing 9 and 9 into his face. Probably should have attacked first with the Dragon there, just in case. I don't know what triggers he's running. We're going to swing 9 and 9, and he's down to 1 life, guys. He is down to 1 life. I don't know if he didn't have any 2Ks in hand. I'm guessing that's what happened, but he does have the Bartolomeo there. He's able to use Orlumbus ability, -4 cost, and then KO us with the Zoro effect. So very strong turn for him, but he did set up 1 blocker. But here we just play the 10-drop, guys. Like, we play the 10-drop, and that's what we do. We do that 100% of the time, every single day of the week. So we're gonna swing 7 here, make him give us 2 cards, then go next turn on our 5 Dawn turn. We're going to go ahead and swing for 12. We don't have any Jambes in hand, so that's kind of what we're looking for here. But we don't have any of our searchers available. We don't have the Nami. So here we're trying to decide how much Dawn we should leave up. We end up settling on 2. We're going to swing 8 and then swing 12. He's going to block with his Rebecca. And now we're going to hope we survive, guys. Like, he probably has the King Kong gun, but we have the Gum Gum Giant in hand. We have the Radical Beam in hand, and we have 4 2Ks. So that's like the cons of playing Rebecca. Like, he hasn't been able to put any pressure on us, so we have not given him a single card from our hand. So here he King Kong guns and swings at us for 16. So we're running the calculations in our head, and we decide that it is best to counter out here, because if we do not, we're going to go down to 0. He's going to restand Luffy and then put all 3 Dawn back on him and swing for 19. So we're going to counter out with our Gum Gum Giant and our Radical Beam. use our rest of our 2Ks and the Nami here to successfully not go down to 0, and then he's going to swing at us again. We're going to be able to take this one, and then he's going to put all of his, or he has another 8K attack with his Orlumbus. We have a 2K and a 1K to meet that with. Then he's going to swing 9 for game, and we have 2 more 2Ks, boys, and then we're just able to take the game. He can't counter out. Okay, and getting into game number 2, we're going up against Blackbeard. He's going to start off with an 8K swing at face. We're going to take that 100% of the time. Next turn, we have the 3-drop Zoro to play down, so we're going to be sitting in a good spot. Unless he has that 4 cost that can KO a 3 cost, then we might be in a little bit of a sticky scenario. That's honestly the best thing the Blackbeard has into this matchup, just being able to hit the Zoro Juro with that. I think it's Shiryu. I think that's what his name is. So if Zoro is able to stick around here, we're going to have a huge turn next turn. He's going to swing for 6. We're going to go ahead and give him 1 2K, I think, just because we don't want to go down to 1. And just giving him 1 card is fine. And then he does have the Shiryu, guys, so we're not going to be able to ramp like we wanted to. We're going to have to play the game as it was meant to be played. So here we're going to use these 5-drop Luffy, swing for 7 with him, and give 1 Dawn to our leader to make it 2 7K swings. So very, very strong, putting so much pressure on the Blackbeard. He does have the Shiryu on board, but this Luffy, hopefully it's able to stick around. And if it's not, that's fine. We have the 10 drop coming up. And we're going to see if he starts black holing us, guys, because he's seen our rush characters. He knows that we're not playing the generic Luffy list. He knows we're playing a different kind of rush variation. So we're going to see what he does here. We're going to counter out with the Bond Clay here. He's going to swing at us for 6, and we're going to go ahead and take that life. So going down to 1, we have no board. We're going into our 8 Dawn turn here, and we need something off the top to be able to rush our opponent down. We do have the Furnosuke if things come to worse, like we're able to play that, and that's why we do use that 2K counter over some other options in the deck. So here I think he's deciding whether or not he wants to black hole us, and this is the mind games we play with him, guys. He's seen our rush characters. He knows we're playing a different list. It's just all up to him on whether he's willing to sacrifice a card to black hole us. And here we find another 10 drop, so not what we want to see. And once again, like, the Furnosuke comes up often in this Blackbeard matchup. We haven't been able to find our Namis. We haven't been able to find our Sabotis. We're not able to find our 5-drop rush Luffys, but because of that, we are able to use the Furnosuke, swing for 7. Then we're going to go ahead and swing another 7 at life. With the Luffy, we know he has a Burgess in hand, so he at least has 1K. We're going to see what else he has here. If he does not counter out here, we likely win the game. So he's able to counter out, but he does only have 4 cards in hand. So this might make him question whether or not he wants to black hole. So here he's going to swing 6 at our Frankie. We're going to let that go. We're not countering out of that ever. He's going to swing 9 at face. I think we counter out here. We have the 0 cost event, and we have a 2K that we could give him. We're going to see what we decide to do here. We're going to end up taking it, actually. We didn't want to discard one of the 10 drops to let him know that it was coming, because if we did discard the 10 drop, then he'd probably know we have another one in hand, and then he'd black hole us. But he only has 3 cards in hand, guys. So here he decides not to black hole us, giving us the option to 10 drop and win the game on the spot. So we're going to play the 10 drop, minus 10 Dawn, use our leader ability, and if he takes a 7, we immediately win pretty much. It's kind of game over, and even if he doesn't take it, we have a bunch of counter in hand, and we might have been able to survive another turn. So we're going to go ahead and swing the 10 here, and then the 12, and we're going to go ahead and take down the Blackbeard nice and easy. So very, very solid game for us. Next, we're going up against the Shanks. Now, this game was a grind. Every game against Shanks comes down to the wire, guys. Like, it is usually a 1 or 2 card difference that determines who wins these games. So we open up with a pretty strong hand. We have a lot of searchers available, so we're going to be able to find our Zoro, hopefully. We start off with the Nami search, going to be able to find the Gum Gum Giant, just setting up for a little bit later in game, and then we find the Saboti. So there you see why we're playing the Saboti. We're able to find the Zoro in a game where we would not have seen it if we were not running that card. Here he swings 7 at us. We're going to go ahead and give him a 2K just to stay nice and healthy. He's going to play down his 1-cost search event for Shanks, and then he's going to find a Lime Juice. So we know he has a 2K in hand, and so we're going to swing 7 and play down our Zoro, setting up for a very strong turn next turn. And he's going to his 5 Dawn turn, so we know they usually go Yasop into Beckman is what they see pretty much every fucking game. So here on our 6 Dawn turn, we're going to be able to swing. Well, we're trying to decide here because we have to play around Shank's ability, and we don't want him to get a free counter, but we do want that Dawn off the Zoro. So we just decide to swing a 4K into him, and he is at plus 1,000 from the Yasop effect. So we're going to play down the 5-drop Luffy, swing 7 at him. We just don't want to give him any free counters, guys. We want him to give us a card or take a life every single time. So we're going to swing 7 at him, see what he decides to do. He's going to take it, and then we're going to swing an 8 at him. We were thinking about leaving a Dawn up, but we decide that's not what we want to do. We'd rather just swing it face, and he's going to give us a 2K. So looking pretty good here. We know he's probably going to Beckman our Luffy, so if he swings at it, we're just going to give it up. Because it's going to be gone no matter what. And if he swings at our Zoro, Zoro you only need 1 use of. After you get your 1 use, you let him go all the time, 100% of the time. Let him go. He's done his job. And here we know he's going to play the Beckman. I can see it in the stars. The stars are aligning. He swings 6 at us. We're going to go ahead and counter out with a 2K. Once again, he's going to be coming at us with some bigger swings later in the game, so we want to get our 1 card counters where we can. Here we're coming into our 9 Dawn turn. We have the dragon in hand, so we're going to be able to play the dragon, swing for 9 and 9. We're going to go ahead and Saboti search just to see what we find. We find another 2K. Just trying to decide what plays we wanted to make there. So we're going to swing 8 into face. He either gives us 2 cards here or goes down to 2 life. And then we're going to swing with the dragon another 9K. So pretty big turn here, seeing how many counter he has in hand. And he's going to give us 2 cards, uses leader ability, so very strong defense out of him. And then we're going to swing 9K into Shanks. He's going to take that. And then next turn, guys, we're going to try to play the 10 drop. So like I said, we need to get him down to below 2 life. I don't know if I said that, but we need to get him down to below 2 life, guys. Against Shanks, if you have them above, if he is above 2 or more life, you're not going to be able to go for game with your 10 drops. So you need to get him down to below 2. It is a necessity. So if we're able to keep the dragon around here, we're going to be sitting in a very, very good spot, just because we're able to swing that free 9K next turn. So let's see what he decides to do. Usually on their 9 Dawn turns, they'll play like a dragon, they'll play a Rayleigh, they'll play that stinker. He gives our dragon minus 3K. So our dragon's now a 6K, and at this point, we're just kind of giving him up, like we're not going to counter out of this. We just accepted that he is going to get removed here. He's going to attack into it, and he could Beckman it. And that's what we don't want to see. We do not want to see another Beckman established for good value. Here's going to swing into it, and we're just going to give it up, guys. I think that was the right play. I don't think saving it would have given us any advantage. In worst case scenario, he just Beckmans it after we give him a 2K. So here he's sitting at 8 Dawn, I believe. So he could play the Rayleigh, he could play the dragon. He's going to go ahead and play down the Uta. And let's see what he finds off of it. At this point, we want to start tracking the 2Ks in hand. So let's see what he pulls off of it. He's trying to decide what would be the best. He gets another Beckman. So I know he has a 1K at least. We know he has a 1K in hand. And that is all the hand information I think we know right now. We might have been able... I think he might have had another 2K in hand that we were keeping track of. But for now, for the sake of this video, we just assume he has 1K. He's going to swing at us with a 6 and then an 8. We're going to go ahead and counter out of this with our Rad Beam. I think we use the Gum Gum Giant because there's no downside to using it here. We're going to get the 2 Dawn back anyway. And you don't really want to be using the Gum Gum Giant on the turn after you 10 drop because you actually minus those Dawn, and it is a big deal when you're trying to go for game. So here on our 10 Dawn turn, we're trying to decide. We have the 5-drop Luffy's in hand, so we're trying to think, do we play the 5-drop Luffy this turn? Do we play the 10-drop Luffy this turn? Because like I said, we need to get him below 2 before we play the 10-drop, guys. So that we're able to go for game after that. So I think we're thinking of whether to play the 5-drop Rush Luffy with the no blocking or the 10-drop block or the 10-drop. Let's see what we decide to do here. It's a very, very important game. Like all the games against Shanks, guys, come down to the fucking wire. It is a very, very fun matchup and a very, very competitive matchup. So here we're thinking, just trying to find the best play and what gives us the best chance to win. So it looks like I'm going to attach 1 Dawn to leader. We need 7 Dawn for the 5-drop Luffy ability because we don't want him to be able to block with that blocker. We want to get him down to 1, and then we're going to hope to find a Jambe for the 10 drop. So he does take that, and that is fucking huge. So we're going to go ahead and play down the 5-drop Luffy, swing at face, either get him to give us 2 cards, and he takes it. So as long as we find the Jambe, guys, we're going to be able to take the game. We are running 2. We have the 10 drop available. We have 2 life available. So we have a lot of chances to see either one of our searchers or the Jambé itself. So yeah, very, very close game here. He could go for game. We have 4 cards in hand. He has kind of 4 viable attackers. But if he does go for game, we will win automatically next turn. Let's see what he decides to do. We do have 2 down up, and leaving, like, you have to bluff with this deck, guys, because people will assume you have it, and usually we do, but at this point we only have 1 Rad Beam, so we're hoping to see either another Rad Beam in life or a Gum Gum Giant in life. So here he's going to swing 6, he's going to swing 8, and this is the one we counter out of here. We're going to go ahead and Rad Beam out of this 8k just so we don't go down to 0, because if we did, he can just put all of his down on the blocker and swing for 13, and we would have died. So we did not want to do that. We're going to Rad Beam out of it. We're just doing the calculations in our head. Rad Beam out of that attack. He's going to play down the Rayleigh. And at this point, we know that if we see a Jambé, we win the game immediately. So we draw the Nami off the top. That is a fucking awesome draw. Because now we're able to play the 10 drop and then use his effect, swing for 7. And then the next turn, we're able to look for Jambé with our Nami search. So yeah, very, very solid draw for us. And we have a really good chance of winning here. So we're going to go ahead and use the 10 drop ability, return cards to deck, use our leader ability, use 10 drop ability, and then swing for 7. Let's see if he's able to counter out of this. He has to give us 2 cards. Actually, he has to give us 1 card. You can use leader ability and a 2k. So if he does not do that, then we know, okay, yeah, he uses the 2k. And then this is the turn, guys. We search for the Nami and we do not find the Jambé. So fucking horrible. I think we still go for it, guys. I think we go for it. If he does not, he has to have 2 2Ks to counter out of this. No, 3 2Ks, or 2 2Ks and a 1K. So we're gonna go ahead and swing 9 at leader, and if he has it, he has it. If he does not, then we swing for 12 and we're able to take the game. Like I said, guys, these Shanks games are always come down to this shit. Like, it is always so close. So he's going to go ahead and counter out, and he does not have enough 4 dead cards in hand, and we're able to take the game against the Shanks, guys. This was a long one, guys. This was a long one. So if you're here, make sure to comment fish in the comment section down below so I know that you made it. We've had a couple cactuses. Cactus was my keyword for my past couple of videos, but if you made it to this one, comment fish in the comment section below so I know that you made it. Let me know what you thought of the guide. Let me know if it was useful to you and what other decks you'd want to see done in the future. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day. See ya.